The South Carolina women's basketball team returning to the CLA yesterday, taking on South Florida in just their fourth home game of the season. They're happy to be back at the CLA, and the Gamecocks winning this one 78-62. It was very convincing until the last 5 minutes when a slew of turnovers allowed the Bulls to make the final score look closer than the game really was. Still, though, a comfortable win that saw freshman Joyce Edwards post a career-high 15 points. The Gamecocks are up to number 2 in this week's AP poll after Notre Dame beat UConn earlier in the week. The Fighting Irish are back to number 3 in this week's rankings. South Carolina, known for their depth, and head coach Don Staley says they're always thinking about rotations and getting as many players in the game as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about that in the locker room after the game. It is, I mean, we play consistently 10, which is hard, right? We got 13, so the 3 other players that don't play, you know, they just sat for 38 minutes. And then we put them in, and our expectation is, you know, you don't give up any points and you push the lead forward. That's our expectation. It's hard though, to sit there for that long and not get any run. But I say for the 10 players, it's hard as well, because if someone's got it going on, more times than not, we're gonna play them till the cows come home, right? That means somebody's minutes are shrinking. Like, I looked at the stat sheet at halftime. Chloe played 6 minutes. I'm like, I gotta get her minutes back. So she played a little bit longer in the third period than she normally does. Joyce played a little bit less, but Joyce, got minutes, 13 minutes in the first half. So it's, you really have to explain to young people that that's how it is, or else they'll think I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm playing bad, and that's the furthest from it. Like, it's, and I have to catch myself and say, hey, I got to explain this. Breezy was playing about 15, 16 minutes, and I had to ask her, like, how you feeling? She's like, I'm fine. It's Breezy. She's always gonna have a positive. And I'm like, how do you feel about your minutes? And she was like, well, I'm not playing as much. I said, you're not, but they're lean minutes. They're not like, and you're not doing anything that's forcing me to sit you. It's just, other play. Lay was playing better. Like, Lay, the more she plays, like she plays, sometimes it leads to less minutes for Breezy or Tessa or Powell. So it's not anything wrong with what they're doing. It's more about what their competitors are doing, and it's a healthy competition. It's a healthy thing that's happening on our team, because it's a moving target. Like, it's not like one person it's multiple people that are playing well.
It's always so great to get inside the coaching mind of Don Staley. That was just fascinating to hear that whole process and how it works. Well, here's a look at this week's AP poll. The top 6 of this week's AP Top 25. UCLA remains number 1 overall. South Carolina up to number 2. Notre Dame up to number 3 after they got another big win over UConn, who falls to number 4. LSU falls a spot to number 5, and Texas is at number 6. And I'm an AP voter this year for women's college basketball, and here is what the top of my ballot looked like this week. Just a little different. The top 3 are the same. UCLA to me is number 1 until they lose. South Carolina, they were actually my number 2 last week as well, and they're still number 2 for me this week. I also think Notre Dame is worthy of number 3. They do have 2 losses, but they beat Texas, UConn, and Southern Cal, and I think those great wins outweigh those 2 losses. I have Maryland at number 4, an undefeated team that beat Duke earlier in the season. So I think their resume, I have them at number 4. And then I have Texas at 5, UConn 6, Southern Cal at 7. I listed them in order of who I thought had the best loss to Notre Dame. Those are the 3 teams to lose to Notre Dame. So Texas lost in overtime to Notre Dame, UConn by a little bit, Southern Cal got killed. So they're at number 7. And then LSU, if you're wondering, is number 8 in my poll. I need to see them play some better competition before I put them in the top 5.